To 100% Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion, I will need to go through room after room after room to beat the base game not only once, not twice, but 3 times. On top of that, I also have an endless mode that is going to take me hours to find everything I need. And lastly, I need to play through 2 DLCs and find all the secrets in each of the modes. But I'm getting ahead of myself because we need to go back to where it all began. So, as we start our journey into this 1000 room mansion, we are not only greeted by our first achievement, Welcome, for simply just starting our run in standard mode, but also what will become a familiar face, Spooky.
And this is my home. Can you, humble player, make it through 1,000 rooms? Can you find what lies at the end? Or is there even an end? I don't really know. Anyway, just go.
Entering room of 1000, we are met with our first jump scare from Specimen 1. Yes, it is just a cardboard cutout. Then in room 6, we found the first note left by who I like to call Mr. Romantic with the amount they say it. I will not be going into the lore of these notes in this video because then I'd ramble and this would be turned into a 2-hour video if it's not already. As we enter room 50, we are pleasantly met with a safe room where we can take a breather and save our progress, which unfortunately I will not be doing because I hate myself, and there's an achievement tied to this. And oh boy, do I regret this. However, I'm getting ahead of myself. Spouting, splashing, soaking. Inwards ingest invoking. Nailing never stops the choking. Oh, what the? As you can hear, I was startled to meet the first aggressive specimen known as Gel, who doesn't really do much but run after you. So after escaping from jail, we moved to room 83, where we were met with the Cat DOS, which gives us a little bit more detail about each of the specimens we meet along the way. Right now, it only tells us about the first 4, but as we progress and find more of them, we get to know more about them as well. From there, we make our way to room 100, where we get another safe room, which we get about every 50 rooms until I think it was about room 300. Then they come every 100 rooms after that. Entering room 120, we are greeted with a secret lab, and we find some lore on our next specimen, known as, kid you not, Giant Centipede. Yes, it's just Giant Centipede, which I'll pass it on to past me to give you the lore. Subject 5 is growing more and more restless. I told Spook we need more funds for sedatives, but she just laughed and flew into the ceiling. Without more chemicals to keep these things docile, I'm not sure how much longer we can keep them here safely. I believe Subject 5 is loose. The glass around its container is shattered, and I can faintly hear clicking coming from the ceiling. I don't know what will happen now. If it is out and alive, then it's probably my last resort. The clicking is getting louder now. Anyway, escaping from them, we find ourselves in some kind of haunted school, home to another new specimen, Ringu. Oh! 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 They don't do much apart from just chase you down as well. Entering room 213, we get greeted by Specimen 5, Bab, who creates environmental and visual hallucinations while chasing you, but is thankfully too slow to actually keep up to you. We get our next achievement Surprise for reaching room 250, and we also get a little interaction with Spooky with a small present left for us afterwards.
I shall grant you a gift for your progress. So just keep going.
Entering room 310, we get introduced to some kind of puzzle where the only way to actually get through the doors is by running into them backwards. We also get to meet our newest specimen, the Merchant, or also known as the Puppet, where his gimmick is as long as you face him, he can't move or attack you, so as soon as he gets summoned, you have to look at him before you manage to run away again.
Well, hello there. Are you lost, little one? This place can help those who are ready, but expect turmoil more than you are used to.
In room 406, we are met by the White Cat, who has very small lines of dialogue, but guides the player through a few rooms until we speak to her last.
Two sides of the same coin. Knowing your projections can help you achieve for you. The mask you wear serves its purpose well, but be careful not to lose yourself in it. Balance is key to keeping your mind free and sane. Knowing your shadow can greatly help you, but be ready to see what you'd rather not be.
And now we meet our next specimen known as the Flesh Wall, who will kind of just chase you, but because it's a wall, you can't really go backwards. So if you get stuck in a corner, you're kind of dead. Moving on to room 500, we get the achievement halfway there for, well, making it halfway there.
Still here. You just keep on going, don't you? Well, the next door has been fixed up for you. So enjoy and keep moving on, you little fleshy live one.
After speaking with Spooky again, we're forced to take a strange door to the right, which backtracks us all the way to room 50, finding Gel again. But making it through to room 60, we find this cheat sheet that has some kind of code that if we speak out loud, it lets us go through an express tunnel? I'm not really sure, but anyway, we're back to room 510. Moving to room 550, we find ourselves in an outside-ish area of the mansion, where we go through a couple cabins, meeting some ravenous deer in between. Through this little area, we find ourselves an axe, giving us the achievement New Axoition, which we can use to protect ourselves by killing specimen, or at least stopping them for a room, and then also breaking through certain doors. Just after that, we meet our next specimen, the Deer Lord, hence all the deer before, which their attack will distort our vision while spouting some demonic phrases. Not really too much of a threat. Entering room 568, we are met with 3 arcade machines, which the first, Miss Spook, is like Pac-Man, but we're one of the ghosts, specifically Spooky, and we have to kill the Pac-Man. The second game is Maul of the Spook, where we control her, moving her up and down, stabbing people to fill a constantly draining health bar, which, as you progress, it drains faster and faster. The last of these games, Spooky Car, is a 3D style racing game where we must crash into the other racers, throwing them off the course, and only when they're all gone, we will win. While this is a side objective, it did net us the next achievement, Metagamer. Moving on to room 610, we are met with a lab-type room again. However, this time the power is out and we must turn it back on. Doing so lets us move through this place, which, unfortunately, the power gets cut off again. So we must go through the vents to find the next generator, which, when powered on, we get met with our next specimen, Parasite, which actually has multiple forms and will give us a little flash on screen, warning the player when it transforms. Somewhere between room 610 and 710, I get the achievement Marathon for walking a certain distance. I don't really know how far you have to go, but you normally get it in about the 600 to 700 range. In this room, we are met with some kind of fast food-like restaurant, where we have to jump a few hurdles to get through. First, we have to find a key in the bathroom, which will let us into the children's play area, where we find another key, which lets us go to the back room in the freezer, and then finding the last key in there, we go for escape. But we meet Specimen 11, also known as the Food Demon, who kind of just chases you with a few more complications like moving faster to catch up to you, flying direct through walls and such. Entering room 750 gets us our second to last room distance related achievement, the Final Stretch, where we actually get granted unlimited stamina, which is actually false, because for the next 10 rooms, we don't actually have a sprint option.
Well, I didn't really have a gift ready, so, there you go. Unlimited stamina. It'll never, ever run out. So, see you later.
Moving to room 775, my biggest regret of not saving, I decided to smash the glass to the brain to get the achievement Brain Power to let it kill you. Unfortunately, like I said, I wasn't going to save this run, so I had to do the entire run all over again from room 1. Anyway, coming back from that hiccup, I find on my second run my last note in room 753, giving us the achievement Avid Reader. Somewhere on this run, I also got the achievement Near Death Experience for, well, nearly dying. Moving on to room 810, we're met with some kind of mansion within a mansion, mansionception if you will, where we meet the old man who carries a scythe as his weapon of choice. To get through this, we must make our way to the wine cellar where we meet him first, then we move on to the dining room to get the bedroom key. Moving into the bedroom, we need to hide from him again, and on him leaving, he drops a key to the library. We move through to the library, finding yet another key letting us into the parlor, where, for a third time, we have to hide until he leaves. We then pick up a book and move into the library again, where we can slot it in this bookshelf and it gives us a secret entrance to the under the foundations of the mansion, where, yes, you guessed it, we have to hide from him again, which, thankfully, this is the last time. On him leaving, he'll drop the last key, letting us leave this place. Nothing much happened from room 810 until we get to 910, which seems to be some water treatment place. To get through this, we must drain the water, where we need to pick up a lantern to be able to find a code of 4132. We enter it into this doorway, where we can restart the pumps to drain the room. Moving through the door, we find a still slightly flooded room with some wooden crates we can stand on to get out of the water. Which, I must say, this is the worst area of all the mansion. It's not only the fact that the water slows you down, you have to rest on the boxes, but this went on for the next 60 plus levels in my run, so I got some really bad RNG here. Anyway, enough of the ranting. We get the key to progress, where we meet the second to last specimen, the mermaid, who will chase you throughout the entire water level, giving the reason for the boxes. So we can stand on them to get away from her biting our ankles. After the never-ending water section, we come to the last elevator before the last 5 rooms. As we make our way through these levels, we have 3 of the last 4 achievements we get for doing this run. You did it for making it through the 1000 levels. Speedrun strats for doing it without saving. And lastly, I did pacifism for not killing a single specimen till this point.
Well, you made it. Congratulations, I guess. Well... Oh! So now you must pass one final test to prove your fortitude or dedication or something.
After our talk with Spooky, we must continue through one more room for the final test, meeting the last specimen, Specimen 9, also known as Taker, which is the boss fight, and I'll just let this part play out. What is that? Okay, that wasn't so bad.
Well, you died. In a pretty tragic way, too. Just tragic enough for you to become a ghost. Good job, by the way, making it this far. So buckle up, soldier, because now I finally think we have enough troops to invade.
To invent.
The time has come, my loyal troops. No longer shall we be called cute or adorable. No longer will we be disregarded and ignored. For now, we are the most feared army in the world.
I genuinely thought there was going to be more to this fight when the text came up, but thankfully not. We got our last achievement for this run, Welcome to the Army, for getting the good ending. Now, there being a good ending entails there's a bad one, so yes, I went through the 1000 levels again, where all I had to do was kill a bunch of specimen. I'm not actually too sure how many, but after we kill the Taker again, we get the achievement, It Was Never a Mess.
Congratulations! You did it! It was interesting watching you swing your axe around like that. I know you'll make a fine specimen.
But wait, there's more! I had to go through another 1000 levels with jump scares and specimen off to get arrival mode. And yes, before anyone says anything, I later found out I could use the codes given to us in each 250 rooms, so I could just go back to room 750 to only do the last 250 rooms, but I never knew that at the time, and I really wish I did, because I would have done speedrun stats at the exact same time.
Congratulations, you've done it. You can go home now, and if anything changes, we'll let you know. Bye.
Moving on, I decided to do the endless mode achievements, containing seeing double for having 2 specimen of the same type chase me. But again, I decided to die near the end as I went AFK talking to a friend, and I learned the hard way not to do so. Then I found out I could do the last 2 achievements with jump scares and specimen off, so I put on a movie and I just ran for like 2 to 3 hours to get This Isn't the End for reaching room 1001, and Specimen Researcher for getting quote-unquote chased by every specimen, which took me until about room 2000 something, which unfortunately I didn't record because I forgot to press it. Upon entering the first DLC, Karamari Hospital, we are in the elevator of room 995. Pressing the button to go down starts a very fast freefall going down thousands on thousands of rooms.
I don't know how you got all the way down here. I didn't even remember there were rooms down here. Well, good luck.
We get our little talk with Spooky, then entering the hospital, we get our first of 6 achievements related to this DLC, Visiting Hour. We enter the hospital in the waiting room, where we have a save item and 2 doors to go through. The bathroom does nothing for us, so we go through the double doors leading to a hallway. This hallway has a bunch of hospital rooms branching off, and at the end, before the corner, we have a staircase to the basement where we can find the first key in the break room. This will take us to the offices of the doctors, where we'll find a missing item slot in a frame and a key to the maintenance room. We can go turn off the power, letting us through the other side of the hospital rooms and finding the first of many monsters, a guard protecting a staircase. When the guard finally moves, we can go down there, getting the missing item for the frame and meeting monster 2, a body in a bag. Getting out of that small chase, we input the item in the frame and it opens a secret staircase. Going down the staircase, we can go through a few doors to find monster 3, a giant baby head. Then finding another key for the isolation ward, exiting that room, we find monster 4 going on a small chase to get out of the secret room. Going to the isolation room, we are met with a maze that is supposed to have monster 5, but I never get to meet them in this run. Anyway, I get through, finding the last key for the exit, giving us the achievement, You Should Go Now. But before taking the exit, I need 2 more achievements from this run, which is to do with a secret game added within this DLC, Sunshine Academy. It's a weird dating sim visual novel. One achievement linked to this is Backseat Gamer. The way to get this is to die while playing the game. So I lured monster 4 to the room and kill me while I have it in my hands. The next achievement, Love Failed, is for getting the bad ending, which, in all honesty, I couldn't really gather how to get this. I find just picking the weirdest answers worked. Then also a lot of people online said on the second day of the third playthrough you had to decline walking Ume home. Other than that, I genuinely don't know what any of it means. Anyway, with that over, it's time to leave to get the last 2 achievements for this DLC. For this, all I had to do was boot up a new game plus, then kill all the monsters with the sword that I picked up next to the secret passage room. I also killed the guard with the acid from the morgue, as he was linked to the virus in the basement. I then went and killed the rest of them. Upon getting the exit key, I get She Fears You, which was for killing all the monsters, and then simply for completing New Game Plus, we get Knife to Meet You. Moving on to the second DLC, Dollhouse. This one really confused me at first, as it revolves around having the doll on you at all times. And if I'm honest, I ran around for like 10 minutes before I even noticed it. As we enter, we of course get the first achievement for simply just starting like usual. Welcome to the Dollhouse. We then go pick up the doll, which for some reason, something about her draws us in. This is some horror movie type stuff, I swear. Anyway, moving through the house, we get our first key, which we pick up from this piano. This lets us unlock a lot of the regular doors to this place. We also meet our first monster doll, which kind of just chases you down and hits you. They're very easy to avoid. We set the doll down on the pedestal and sit in the chair opposite for the achievement Tea Time. We move further down the hall, finding a weirdly written note and the second monster of this place, who is apparently called Wormy Charles.
Oh, hey, here you are. I was wondering where you were. I had forgotten about this place. So many tortured souls are here. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go check on something. See you later.
After meeting Spooky and getting such a confidence boost from her, we find a clock with a pair of bolt cutters in, which we have to solve a puzzle. The answer is in the next room to it, so setting the clock to 5:45 opens the clock and we can pick up the bolt cutters. With the bolt cutters, we can go to a door covered in barbed wire, and exiting this door will take us to the garden, where we have 2 ways to go, but we need to find the keys for the metal door. So to the left we go. Running through the halls in here, we find a pile of doll hands, which 2 of them are clasped together holding something. So picking them up, we move over to the furnace to burn them, getting a key we needed earlier.
Oh, hey. I was thinking you might want some help. So, I moved all those dolls out of the way. Well, have fun.
We then meet Spooky again, who decided to help us by setting all the dead dolls in front of our only exit. So placing the doll onto the pedestal, we can turn on an electric gate which will revive them, and we can just run past them. Going through the other door of the garden, we can play the game Rip Dug, and dying in this game gets us our next achievement, Dug Dug. Moving through more of this lab type room, we fall through the floor into the root cellar, where to make our escape we have to find 3 pieces of a pinwheel. We find 1 under a heavy plate which we have to move over. We find 1 in the life-size doll which we have to tear out of the body. We then find the last one which we have to use our axe on this statue. And getting all 3 of these, we get to move through into the next room and get the GL Labs keycard. Using the keycard, we can take a staircase back up to the dollhouse, where we find our doll just sitting outside like it's just been thrown away. Picking it up, she's now covering her eyes like she's scared, so that fills me with a lot of confidence as well.
Oh, hey. I don't like it here. You should probably just leave. There's nothing for you here. Just leave.
We find Spooky, who seems really disturbed by this box in the room. We then also find our exit, but before taking that, we must go back through the dollhouse for some more things first. We find some secret behind a fake wall, where we then have to go through a little maze to find another fake wall. Doing so, we find a Caesar cipher, which, when deciphered, reads, "Into the sea, you and me, all these years, and no one heard." We then get the achievement, "You're in the know, right?" And then we also have this little message that pops up afterwards. Moving on, we're now going back down to the root cellar because we have to get 3 candles we found earlier, which doing so will also get us haunted by a life-size doll we ripped into for one of the pinwheel parts. 1 candle is in the room we fell into, the second being in the little maze area, and the last one is found in the room we got the keycard from. With the candles, I make a save so I never need to do that again, and we move into the sacrifice room. Placing the 3 candles will let us use the machine where we get the choice to sacrifice one of 3 specimens. The puppet, the deer god, or what I chose, the food demon. Getting to the end of this, we find some strange pillar where the specimen gets sucked into, letting us leave this place afterwards. Now, for the last achievements, we must go back to the room Spooky disliked and sacrifice the doll to it. We then get entered into a sequence where we have to go through some sort of maze, killing strange monsters with an M1 Grand. Getting to the end of this, we find a sadly familiar face. In the next sequence, we find a man sleeping on a bench, and if we try and say no to planting the gun on him, we get the achievement, "You tried." But to progress, we must plant the gun on him. Getting out of the room, we are met with a 35-second timer, so we make our way back to the train to make our way out. Upon exiting, we see the mansion on top of the hill where it starts to explode, afterwards letting all the spirits that were originally trapped inside of the mansion out, and now with the hell gate shut, they can finally go to rest. As well with Spooky, she finally gets to be reunited with her family, giving us, now we can be together. Loki, I really didn't realize the lore was going to be like this, but if we go back to the shooting sequence, we were actually playing as Spooky's shell-shocked father, and this whole mansion was built for him to use a mix of science and witchcraft to actually try and bring her back, as he had this looming guilt that occurred after what happened that night. Anyway, we still have one achievement left, which we must do the whole shooting sequence again, but not sealing the Hellgate, meaning when we're leaving the lab, the spirits that were trapped inside of the mansion now escape to wreak havoc on the world, giving Demons Walk with us. Now, I kinda lied about having one last achievement left, but there is one last one to do, which is to die by all the specimens, but thankfully it's only in the base game, so getting this was slightly tedious, but after about 20 or 30 minutes of going around with the level codes and whatnot, we get game over and over. And now we have officially 100%ed Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. Feel free to let me know what game I should 100% next, and let me know of all my skill issues in the comments below. Bye!